What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another NBA Rundown brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Bets and Run Pure Sports. Quite the day we had yesterday picking the games, and even the leans were good. Travis felt pretty good waking up, seeing all that money in my account. How you feeling today?
Yeah, feeling good. Spread. Thought we nailed it pretty well, right? We went 3-0. I actually took our bets and I did a little parlay action, and it went well. So nothing big, right?
Wonderful.
So just,
Cool.
but happy to hit the parlay, right? I felt pretty good about all three of our bets. I'm not someone that plays a lot of parlays, but wanted to have fun with it and happy to take that home. I did. I think I kind of was a coward. I money lined them all, right? Because it was like not that much of a difference. So I was like, yeah, let's just do the money lines and cheer for the wins. So was happy about that. I got those Clippers home, and I am curious to talk about them today because they are an interesting game. So it should be a fun card and big one for DFS too, like absolutely massive. Kind of happy that Bucks Timberwolves game is kind of not on this slate and it's at 4:00. So that way, when we talk DFS, it won't be another game because I believe it's 11 games today, which is a ton.
Yeah, it's so many games. So, and hopefully, if we give out some more winners, we can become the Rondo and Batum of the sports betting world here, right? And just try and become those two great teammates. So let's dive right in. We got another afternoon game, which will be a solo game for the DFS slate. So if you guys like those showdown slates and do a good job choosing the captains, you got an opportunity here. The Milwaukee Bucks, who are 33-20, 22-30 against the spread, head to Minnesota, 14-41, 23-31 against the spread. Minnesota catching 9.5 at home. The total's 237, so expecting a lot. But Travis, I don't know how much time we're going to spend on this game. Cat's questionable. Giannis is questionable. Obviously, that's pretty big news. It's going to affect whether or not we're going to bet. So maybe just a quick breakdown, and we'll move on because I'm not going to take a stand until I have rock solid news on either of those gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, if you did it yesterday, right? If you took a stand early on, if you took the Timberwolves, you definitely got dusted pretty hard. So, I just think I don't know. I don't need to bet this game. If you want the 4:30 action, right? I lean betting on the Bucks, I would say, because Giannis practiced the other day. I assume he's going to play in this game. Yeah. But I don't need to jump on this game, right? I can relax. It is the front end of the back-to-back for the Bucks, right? That is the one thing worth mentioning. They play the TNT game against Atlanta, I believe. I talked about it yesterday. I don't know for sure if it's the TNT game, but there's 4 games tomorrow, and there's one 7 o'clock. So I assume that they're like one of the highlighted games because it's the Bucks. Bucks and Hawks. So front end of the back-to-back, and Giannis still hasn't played. There is a chance they just say, hey, we'll sit him this one and we'll play him in the TNT one. That's certainly possible. But I'm assuming Giannis plays in both games. Wouldn't be a bad idea to kind of just get Giannis out there. The Bucks are happy to just kind of have a minutes limit on him, right? Only play him 24 to 25 minutes, 26. And just give him a nice little warm-up before that game. So it would not shock me if they did that. But I'm going to kind of stay away from this one completely.
All right. Now that the viewers are starting to roll in, just a quick reminder to like the video, subscribe to the channel so we can continue to bring you actionable gambling content. Neither Travis or I like that first game a ton. He likes Milwaukee. If you really want action, it's funny, as I kind of lean taking the points if you really want some afternoon action. But let's be honest, I don't think this is really a great game to bet on. So go ahead and stay away. Maybe the over is actually the best look, but pretty much a stay away from me altogether. Let's jump into this next game, although this one seems like a stay away too, but maybe you can help me find an angle. The Cleveland Cavaliers, 19-34, 22-31 against the spread, head to Charlotte to take on the Hornets, who are 27-26, 29-23 against the spread. We won't spend a lot of time on it because we talked about it yesterday, but this Charlotte team is hurting for scorers, playmakers, and bodies in general. How are you approaching this game, Travis?
Do you have the injury report on Cleveland for me? Do we know who's in and out? Because I want to lean Cleveland. I just need to kind of know who is in and out with the guards because those guys randomly sat the other day. I know Jared Allen's back, which is great. That's obviously going to be, I think, good for them. Is Larry Nance back? I know Larry Nance lost a lot of weight, so he might not be himself coming back as well. That's obviously concerning. But what's the injury report on Cleveland?
So, I mean, questionable Garland, questionable Sexton. You know what? Rozier is probable, which would be a huge help for Charlotte.
That's a big change because I thought he was maybe not going to play.
Yeah, when I capped it last night, I just saw that last night. Right now, when you asked, I didn't expect him to play.
Yeah, that's interesting that he might play because I was expecting him not to, based on everything I read last night too. So DFS wise, if Rozier's in, this is going to cut into a lot of these Hornets, right? It's going to cut into a McDaniels, even like I think it was Caleb Martin who crushed last night. If you didn't have Rozier, I think you would want to consider going back to him. I think you'd consider it. I'm not saying you do it for certain, but Borrego did talk up that like Martin would do stuff, and like I was like kind of just cautious because I was like, this is Caleb Martin, like it's a good slate. I don't know if I need to go there. And same thing here. It's like an 11, 12 game slate. Do I really need to go there? I think you could think about it, but I don't think it's necessary by any means. McDaniels is the one that I felt like was pretty safe yesterday. Did a pretty good job. I wouldn't mind going back to the well with him. Devontae Graham wasn't bad. He ended up salvaging towards the end. So if Rozier is out, but again, you said he's probable. So I think you just kind of right now, I think a lot of these Hornets, they were guys that I was going to play coming into talking about the show, but I think I don't want to lean on them as much. There's a lot of other opportunities that we're going to have. Also from a betting perspective, I don't want to bet this game until I know what's going on with that Cleveland Cavs backcourt. Now, if those guards are in, I actually lean Cleveland. I think that they are the better team to bet on here in this spot. I think that's going to be super important to be getting that injury news. And I like that they got Jared Allen back. I think he'd absolutely crush in this spot. And spread, we just got some news. Kevin Durant is out. And then I think we're going to get Kyrie Irving in is my guess. Because I think one of those Nets is going to be playing here in this spot. We got Aldridge out. So it's all flowing in here, spread. And let's see what the next one's going to be on the Nets. Because that game is coming up. So it's worth talking about
and
here.
That's next on the list. And so I'll just go ahead and wrap up the last game real quick.
Yeah.
Here's my look on it. If Rozier plays, I'll lay it with Charlotte. If he doesn't play, I'm not touching the game. And there's no way I'm taking Cleveland. So
great call. Only way I would look at Cleveland guys in DFS is I'd look at like Jared Allen if he's like super underpriced on a site. But I don't know exactly his price tag.
What would you consider underpriced, like less than 6,500?
Yeah, he'd have to be. Yeah, I mean, it is Charlotte, right? So he's 7-8 on DraftKings, and then FanDuel is where you normally get him cheap. That's kind of why I mentioned that. FanDuel
7-8 is too high, right?
FanDuel, he is 7-2. Yeah, not worth it. So I'll do a hard pass on him there.
All right. So let's go into this next game. And Travis, I can't wait to talk to you about this game from a lot of different perspectives. So the Brooklyn Nets, 37-17, 26-28. Second in the Eastern Conference. They're playing the Philadelphia 76ers 37-17, 30-22 against the spread, right? So they're tied. This game's going to have tiebreaker potential, right? I'm so surprised that Durant's sitting out. I just wanted to talk to you about this.
See, I'm not spread. It's a second night of it's a second end of a back-to-back, right? Like the whole goal of the Nets is to win the title, right? Like they didn't get this team together to break some regular season records. So like I think they just want to be sitting KD in back-to-backs, at least for the first year after the surgery. Keep in mind, we saw KD. He pushed himself after an injury once. And again, it was in the finals. And he got himself really hurt after. So I think KD is like, all right, enough is enough. I'm not going to be playing these random regular season back-to-backs. I've earned it, right? I don't need to play in these games. Let some other guys. So also like Danny Green, I saw a quote by him today, which I thought was very intriguing. Danny Green said he thinks teams are kind of pulling a page out of Popovich's book that they used to do back in the day. They used to sit all those vets back in the day, right? They used to sit Parker and Duncan, and everyone would get annoyed. But they said they were strategically doing that because they did not want to show their hand against these really good teams. Why are you showing your playbook to the Philadelphia 76ers? Giving them a feel for what you're going to be doing. I'm perfectly fine with that. Like, again, maybe it's not a huge edge or advantage, right? But I will say, if you don't see KD, Harden, and Kyrie all on the floor together, and then like you play against it for the first time, you're going to be probably shell-shocked the first time out there, right? Like it's going to be very overwhelming and something that you'd like to at least get one regular season game under your belt against it, probably just to kind of see it, because I'm sure it's incredible to be going up against and trying to defend.
All right, I think you make some great points here, and this is just going to be my point on why I'm still surprised that they're not going for it. I would put them out there, and it's because it's for the number one seed. Now, let's look. This is a possible scenario. It's not, set in stone, right? But this could be possible, that the number one seed in the East in the round one is going to play the winner of the Knicks, the Pacers, and the Bulls. Round two, they would play the winner of the Hawks and the Hornets. And then in the Eastern Conference Finals, they win, the second or third seeds, right? Now, listen to the path for the two seed. You might get the Celtics in the first round. Then in round two, you get the Bucks. Then in round then the finals, then you get the Eastern Conference. Doesn't that seem like it's worth to play for? I mean, we're talking about winning the title here. I mean, that's
probably
that seems way easier.
What's the East look like right now in playoff standings? I'll admit I don't know. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Hopefully that ad doesn't pop up or something to make noise here.
Okay, so Philadelphia 37-17, Brooklyn 37-17. Boston is 5 right now, right? You know, so
is this right? Oh no, this is wrong. Okay, sorry. I'm looking now. Yeah, the Nets are right there neck and neck with the Sixers. So you definitely bring up a good point, but I don't know. The Nets also probably think they're just like better than everyone, so they don't really care. I mean,
yeah, and they made their decision, and if they end up winning, it'll be fine. But I'm just saying, if you end up playing that knockdown drag out against the Bucks second round, you might look back to this game and say, you know what, maybe we should have thrown KD out there. But regardless, after going through all that, you know, we said we weren't going to dilly-dally on all these games. Let's talk about the game as it's constructed. Let's expect that Irving's going to play. No Harden, no Durant. Now I'm laying 7.5 with the Sixers. How are you approaching this game? To me, it's Nets or pass. What do you think?
Yeah, I kind of lean it being Nets or pass too, just kind of like you. I don't need to go over to the Sixers here. We know they sometimes play down to their competition and can be quite frustrating. So I hate betting on the Sixers in spots like this. So I'm leaning more past than even touching this game. Okay. I do think what you're going to see is I think you're going to see a lot of Kyrie Irving just chucking up the ball, right? We saw Luka chuck up the ball a ton the other day. He was like the main star there. I think you're going to see that with Kyrie. I think that's how, you might see some of the defense kind of align. Then just letting Kyrie get his empty buckets. One of the references I always have for that is like when, I don't remember the playoff series of the Bucks and Celtics, when the Bucks just like Kyrie when he was with Boston, just chuck. And they're like, we'll cover everyone else. And Kyrie, you can get every bucket you want and shoot every terrible contested shot. And we'll just defend and beat you by like 20, which is what they did. I'm curious to see if the Sixers kind of pull off that approach there in this spot. I just do not think that I need to bet this game. I just don't have a good read on it, right? And I don't want to mess with the injuries and everything. It's just not a game I want to mess with. So
it sucks because at the beginning of the week I had circled this one, and I can't believe that Durant's sitting. Now imagine Durant's playing and the line's 2.5, right? I mean, now it becomes pretty interesting, right?
Yeah, well, don't worry, Spread. I like to head on the schedule. We get the Bucks and Sixers twice next week, so you can hold your Eastern Conference, battles. Hang on, we'll get it next week, and we get it on ESPN and TNT. I think I saw.
All right, well, I might have to get together with you and make sure you have a special appearance on one of those days, so we can break this game down properly. But in the interest of time, let's just move on to the next game. The San Antonio Spurs, 26-26, 28-23 against the spread, head to Tampa Bay to take on the tanking Raptors, 21-34, 22-32 against the spread. If you're a Run Pure Bets member and you were following the Discord, HTP gave this out at -2 last night. I love that. Unfortunately, I don't think it's valid anymore as the lines moved all the way to 5.5 with everybody being out from Toronto. And I'll tell you what, Travis, I'm like you. I like, quotes. I like to read the fans. I'm on the subreddits. This Toronto Raptors fan base is all in on the tanking. Number one, they're not even playing in Toronto this year, right? I mean, it seems like the tank is on. I mean, if you had to give me a lean, I would say take the points, but unfortunately, at 5.5, I'm not going to touch it anymore. I hope that, all the Run Pure Bets members got it when HTP gave it out. What do you think about this game, and how are you approaching it, and would you even touch it now at this new line?
Yeah, and worth mentioning, Bo Dunwin says in the chat, NBA has too many injuries. Yeah, so we'll touch on DFS, but with being an 11-game slate and how one injury can just flip an entire NBA slate, we're gonna be a little quicker with things. But I want to mention back with the other game, studs on this slate, kind of ranking them is going to be key because we might have so much value. Embiid is definitely in a really good spot, and Kyrie. Those are going to be two primary studs I'm looking at on this slate. But as we get to other studs, we'll kind of talk about how they compare against each other because I think that's super important. So I don't really want to mess with any of the other guys from the other game except the two studs is what I'm mentioning. Maybe if Claxton starts, if there's no Aldridge, right? But again, this is NBA news that Jace, you can cover on the final countdown for you. Right. The NBA Hardwood Show. It's stuff that we just don't have answers to right now. So you mentioned the Raptors here. And we talked about NBA injuries, right? And this is definitely a spot where we have some injuries. Their lineup is going to be Malachi Flynn, Rodney Hood, OG, Siakam, and Chris Boucher. They also have a pretty weak bench. Ken Burch saw 27 minutes last night, I think, or 25, which I think he has a decent role here. And I'm trying to think through the game. This is something I was trying to decide. Do you think they're going to run Pascal at the 3 more because they're so thin at their guards and wings that they might put Pascal they might even put Pascal at the 3 at times with like a Boucher and like a Kem Birch and a Boucher, right? That might not work exactly. Probably, basically the point I'm getting at is, could you see Siakam maybe play more at the 3 at times while OG is sitting in order to get Kem Birch more time and kind of help out the guard situation? That way, like one of the guys that plays the 3 moves up to the 2. That's something I'm trying to think through, because if that's the case, I think that could open up some minutes for a Kem Birch as a really cheap option, because I was surprised to see he had like 25 fantasy points last night at 3.1K. Now, it's an 11-game slate, probably searching too deep for this, and it's probably not correct and probably a better like showdown play. But that's something I had noticed when I looked at this game. Malachi Flynn, though, that's something that you can't ignore, right? He has been absolutely crushing it. He's definitely going to be someone that I'm looking at. I'm sure I can't remember if I'm the cash chart tonight or not, but if I am, Malachi Flynn will probably make the list here in this spot. Can't ignore the usage he's going to see. When you talk about ranking the studs, I mean, there is a decent price tag on a guy like Pascal Siakam, DFS-wise, right? 8.5K, but it is a really nice role for him, an opportunity, so I'm not going to ignore him at all. I think he could definitely be in a good spot. On the opposite side, I lean on staying away from the Spurs, but I talked about it. I love to target the Raptors, right? That's why I loved Clint Capella yesterday, because Clint Capella ate up the Raptors. And honestly, Jakob Poeltl could eat up the Raptors. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. I believe he used to be a Raptor, correct? Is this a revenge game for Mr. Poeltl and DeMar DeRozan, right?
Yeah, Poeltl was traded in the Kawhi Leonard trade.
Yes, and DeRozan too. So you get the revenge factors if you love those. JSU, if you're watching, shout out to you. I'm sure you're a big revenge guy, I know. So
I hope JSU's watching, because I got a hot take later in one of these games that.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna get more triggered by it than you are.
Yeah, so I think Poeltl could dominate in this spot. And at 6'1", I don't hate it. Again, might not be the right slate. Like, it's an 11-game slate. Like, I don't know what the whole slate's going to look like, but I'm just kind of mentioning price tags that could have opportunity. And if maybe you fall on that range or your construction fits that way, it's something that you can look at. I think that's the best way to kind of break down an NBA slate right now. But yeah, betting wise, I lean going to the Spurs. I'm not a huge Raptors guy. I think this team is just they're absolute garbage right now. I think it's not a hot take or anything saying that, right? The Spurs are a team, they're kind of fighting for those playoffs, right? They're a little more healthier than they've been throughout this season. So I would lean Spurs, not a best bet or anything, but that would be my lean. How about you, Spread?
Yeah, I would still lean Spurs here. I just can't take it because because I already got the number when HGP gave it out. But if I didn't have any money on it right now, I wouldn't jump in. I would try and get it live. And if the Spurs go wire to wire, then I would just write it off. But when you could have 2 and you're laying 5.5, it's not like there's this huge injury news that they've reacted to wrong. The line move is correct, but you just lost all the values. So I'm staying away from it altogether. Let's go ahead and talk about a game that there was not a line move. This has been pretty steady. This is what it was last night. This is what it was this morning. I don't know if it's not taking money or if it's taking equal money. I wouldn't be surprised if people just laid off this game altogether. And I'm talking about the Orlando Magic, who are 17-37, 27-26 against the spread, heading to Chicago to take on their former center, Nikolai Vukovic. The Bulls are 22-31. That's terrible for making that trade. I mean, I think they're like 2-5 since they made the trade. Hasn't really helped. They haven't moved up. They're still in the 10th spot. 28-24 against the spread. So two teams that perform well when they're getting points here. Orlando's the one getting points tonight, 9.5. I can't lay 10 with Chicago. It's Orlando or pass. Right now I'm leaning pass. And that's about it. I mean, I don't really see a reason to get involved here. Orlando can cover spreads, and they can also lose by 30. 11-game slate. Not a reason to force it. What do you think? Am I missing some value here? Total's 215.5.
I don't think I need to go to this one that much, but if I do, I probably go to the Bulls, right?
You think they blow them out?
Yeah, more than likely, right? That's my lean. I will say, Spread, I'm indifferent from you. Like you said like you don't like this trade that the Magic made. I'm more of the camp of like I think it was the right call. Now I don't like what they got back.
I think the Magic were smart to blow it up.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's what I thought too. Like I was like, I maybe I misheard you then. I'm happy. I like when a team realizes, listen, like we could keep going with this for a couple of years and it could be a disaster and it's just not going to end well, or we just kind of like ship these guys out, let them go somewhere else and call it a day, which I was happy with. So yes, the Magic, they're in the rebuild mode, but at least they've accepted that, right? And now they're going to rebuild, and it was going to happen whether it was this year or 2 years from now. They were going to have to rebuild at some point, so may as well just start it now. But betting wise, I would lean on the Magic. I do think you're going to see, obviously it's going to be an emotional game for a guy like Vucevic. You got the revenge on revenge crime, right? Wendell Carter on the opposite side too. So that'll be fun. But I do think it's going to be a pretty good spot for these Bulls. They've been playing a lot better basketball. Billy Donovan has talked about how Lauri Markkanen and Kobe White have been doing really well, like adapting into their new roles of not being these primary usage guys. I do think the Bulls are a solid team. They're coached up pretty well. I would lean the 9.5, not something I'm, jumping to bet on, but we have seen Orlando lay some absolute eggs sometimes, right? And of course, these guys, they're probably going to try pretty hard for Vucevic. They know it's a big game for him. They're all going to rally around him, that kind of stuff. I would lean that. Again, not a best bet or anything. I think I got a couple coming up here that I really like, but for now, that is my current lean on that game. And then DFS-wise, I just think I stay away basically because of the price tags. If you look at the Magic, right, they just have a lot of different guys there. Some of the prices have gone up on these players, but I don't need to go there. Maybe a Wendell Carter at 6K has upside, but I would rather go a Pirtle, right? Like you could see Carter go for 40 fantasy points, but again, Vucevic's not the easiest matchup, so maybe not. I just don't think I have to touch this game. Again, 11-game slate. Talked about some stuff earlier that we didn't mind, right? Raptors have some really good value that we discussed. We talked about some value possibly on the Hornets. We know that there's some opportunity there with those studs at the net. So there'll be stuff that we'll get to, and there's going to be stuff as news hits. And this is not one of those games that you want to load up on. A 216 total, 9.5 spread. I'm out on that for DFS.
Well, after you and JSU sang Kumbaya for an hour yesterday and agreed on everything, it's good to see that we're on opposite sides here. Unfortunately for the viewers, though, they're all leans, and we haven't bet any of these ones we're opposite on. I would take Orlando if I played it, but on this slate with so many good options, I'm not going to force it. And I mean, I think that you make a great point. Would I be surprised if Chicago won by like 24 and use this as an opportunity to take out all their frustrations they've had? Basically not improving since making this trade. It seems quite possible. So I'm staying away. But, if we were doing a lean or we're filling out, an 11-game parlay, we would be on the opposite side of this one. Let's see if we can actually find some kumbaya here for us together, Travis, today on the Knicks, 28-27, 34-21 against the spread, heading to New Orleans to take on the Pelicans, a team I cannot get my thumb on when they're going to show up and when they're not. This team is 25-29 and 25-29 against the spread. Right now, the Pelicans are laying 2.5. Zion Williamson has been unbelievable this year. Really, as big as a leap as we could have hoped for, right? So we go ahead and look at the injury report for this game. They're really not that bad. John Henson, who I don't think he's even played a game yet. He just got signed. He's out. Lonzo Ball's doubtful, so let's cap it with him out. Alexander Walker's out, and James Johnson is questionable. So pretty healthy from both teams. What do you think?
Yeah, I have a pretty strong lean on the Pelicans, right?
Okay.
So we've seen Point Zion, right? Stan Van Gundy has talked about how they want to give Point Zion more run, which kind of makes me think that Lonzo Ball is definitely sitting for longer than people expect. Also, he is the future, right? It's a good time to maybe like just kind of let him cook and do his thing. And this is a great spot to do it against the Knicks, where they like to play a little bit bigger as well. I think Zion absolutely, is going to crush. I like the Pelicans here in this spot. I don't know if I want to pay that price tag in DFS, right? But being able to get Point Zion is nice. And I think the Pelicans roll here. I like them a ton. I'm going to take them at the 2.5 spread. I know you've had trouble with the Pelicans, but when the ball's in Zion's hands, right? They kind of started this like after the Nets, it seems like, right? They got blown out by the Nets that one game, and they're 3-0 since that game, right? They beat the 76ers. And of course, I don't know if they had Embiid for certain in that game. And even if they did, I think it was one of his first games back. But that's still impressive, right? Pelicans, they're definitely a team that I've been more impressed with as the season has gone along. And I definitely think they're a team that I want to bet on here against the Knicks and basically a pick 'em.
Yeah, you made a pretty convincing argument. I actually didn't have a lean on this game. I was trying to think about the matchup. I was thinking, okay, this could be a team that could give that's not just going to let Zion run rampant in the middle, right? I kind of like Noel in there. I think that he's big and strong enough to not just give up. I mean, we've seen Zion just go get loose in the paint. I think he can at least make him work for it. Body him. Maybe at least wear him down a little bit. I do think that they have matchup problems for Ingram. I think they're going to love having Adams out there against a Tibbs team here. So I do think New Orleans is going to be able to score on the Knicks. Now, on the other side, I almost feel the same way. Like, how are the Pelicans going to handle Randall? Like, who do you think will match up there? And, I mean, even just to slide into DFS, I kind of think he'll have a big night. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Randall could. Obviously, it's a good spot defensive. It's a good spot offensively for DFS, right? Because we like to target the Pelicans. I typically like to do it more with the guards. Problem I have is like, what Knicks guard would you play, right? Like, it just doesn't seem like a good spot to do that. Again, going with the theme we talked about, more revenge, right? Julius Randle revenge game. So there you go.
Is this even revenge? When you leave as a free agent, is it even revenge?
Fred, we're doing a show, okay? We got to dress it up a little bit, right? So, everyone loves good revenge, right?
All right.
I don't know if it's first blood, too. I don't know if it's the first one, but I don't think it is. They probably played once this year, and it was probably in New Orleans already, or is this game in New Orleans? Which one are we at? They're in New Orleans tonight, so that could be the first time there too as well. So there you go, spread. But Randall, he's one of those guys you look at in DFS, right? And of course, I like his usage. I like the pace up. That's going to be great for him. The question is the price tag, right? 9.5K. Do you want to pay 9.5K for him, or do you want to pay for that for Fox, right? De'Aaron Fox against the Washington Wizards. I wouldn't mind that. Would you like to pay for Russell Westbrook at 11K against the Sacramento Kings, right?
I know, huh?
Wouldn't mind that. Like, you got to judge these kind of studs against each other. I'd rather Kyrie with all the usage in the world. I like Julius Randle when he was a little bit cheaper. I like him more on the smaller slate, so it's like a 4, 5, 6 gamer, and there's not a lot of stars to pick from. But I just don't think it's the right slate for him. I'm going to pass on that. Even Zion, like, that price tag on Zion is a lot. Like, I just don't know if I can go there at the 9.9K range. You did mention some good stuff about Mr. Brandon Ingram, right? I have not played him a ton. I played him the other day. I swore off him, but I said, okay, I'll give you one last chance. He treated me well, and it was specifically on FanDuel. That's why I played him. You have to play 2 small forwards. He was 8K. You had all this salary where you had to play Malachi Flynn. You had to play all these different players, and I fell on Brandon Ingram. So I don't mind it on FanDuel if you fall on it. You're going to be missing some small forwards because Kawhi Leonard is out, right? So if you look for like spend up small forwards, sometimes you just kind of have to do it. Like last night, you kind of just had to pay up for Jaylen Brown on FanDuel, it felt like. You have to play 2 small forwards. He was one of the guys. You had all this salary. And when you look at spend up small forwards, like Brandon Ingram is number 2 on the board there, right? And Jimmy Butler could randomly rest out of nowhere, or you could not have the money.
It wouldn't be random. He rolled his ankle last night.
Yes, exactly. And it's not random, right? But he rests more than most as well. So that's totally fair. Everyone acts like Jimmy Butler's this warrior that plays every single game. Like, he does sit out games like a star does. So
I can't wait till we get to that game, because that's what my hot take's coming from. But Travis, this is a show of the people, and because we're for the people, please pay us back by liking the video, subscribing to the channel. But our guy Richard wants to know, do we have a lean on the total here? The over-under is 219. It's basically like, will the Knicks impose their will? Will be a low-paced game that we're used to from New York. Will the Pelicans impose their will? Will be the high-flying up and down the court. I believe Tibbs will control the game. I believe this game's going under. I trust the Knicks to slow down the pace more than I expect the Pelicans to be able to coax out a shootout. What do you think?
Yeah, so it's worth mentioning, right? So I just pulled up their box score because, and again, last 3 games, I definitely know Point Zion has been the thing, right? Mm-hmm. And against the Sixers, 101-94, very slow game. 116-109 against Cleveland, which that could have hit the over. It probably did hit the over there on that one.
It did, because Cleveland's really low scoring.
Yes, the key I'm looking at though is
that game.
The key I'm looking at is Sacramento, right? 117-110, which, like, that total was a lot higher, right? I think it was 236, I remember. And like,
It was a
I
high
think
on the
more
board.
point Zion leads to more half court, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously the Knicks want to play that way too. So I would lean under as well. I think you're going to see this. You're going to see this number kind of currently leaning towards what the Pelicans have been, where it's been the more run and gun with the guards and stuff. And I think what you're going to see here is the more slower style game. And I actually think that's a good call. I would lean the under there on that one. But my best bet in this game, and best bet so far, we'll see as we get onto the show, it's Pelicans -2.5 so far. For Gregory Russo, because he's in the chat asking about the best bets already. We'll get there, but this is currently number one on the board for my favorite one.
All right. See, so Richard, there you go. Show for the people here. Let's keep moving along. This one did have some injury news. If you got the line last night, you are 11 where you're at. I mean, assuming you took the dog. But it's the Clippers who are 38-18, 33-23 against the spread.
Yeah, by the way, Kawhi Leonard ruled out. Like, just kind of happened. It happened.
MPG's out, too.
Yeah, it happened 10 minutes ago, but I just saw it again by Labs sent it out. So, yeah,
okay,
PG and the Kawhi.
Yeah, so now a line that was 9.5 last night is now +4 for the Pistons. But if I look, I think Rondo's in. I think Batum's in. What do you think?
They in? Is Rondo playing on the back-to-back?
Do we take? I don't see him on the list. I see Ibaka injured at this point. Leonard's questionable. Let me refresh it.
I hope so. I mean, trust me, it's Rondo Day, baby. Like I'm in. Like this will be a good time if he plays.
When I refreshed it, they took all the news off. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Leonard's out, George out, Dennis Smith Jr. out, Ibaka out, Killian Hayes in, Jeremy Grant in, Rodney Magruder out. So no Magruder revenge game here.
That's okay. We got all the revenge. We got Markieff Morris and Terrence Mann. So not Terrence Mann. Reggie Jackson. So there you go. Those are two.
Luke Kennard. Does he get revenge?
Luke Kennard too. We can't leave him out as well.
In a sign and trade.
It is funny. The Clippers have 3 Pistons. That is funny to think.
Yeah. All right. So what do you think, dude? I mean, we get Batum, we get Rondo. We only have to lay 4 points. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah. So if for some reason I'm nervous he's going to sit on the back-to-back, right? Like, and that's just like, that would just be a bad beat, right? You assume that those guys sitting, they have to probably be playing like a Rondo in there, and they want to kind of get him geared up. Here's the stats, Brett. I sent it to you last night. Here's the update.
Yeah.
Nick Batum and Rondo are +78 in their 71 minutes together over the last 5 games. And if you're going to tell me spread, and also, to be fair, Rondo is typically against the backups, right? So it's a little different. He's going to be against the starters this time, but you can make a case that these Pistons are backups on other teams, right? So that's a fair point to make. Listen, spread, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to let this line, I'll let people still keep betting the Pistons, right? Okay. What is it currently, +4 or +4.5?
It's +4 on Bookmaker right now.
Okay, so do you think I can wait? I think I can wait and get maybe 3. Am I being too greedy there, spread? What do you think?
I mean, it's gone down 0.5 point since we talked. It's +3.5 right now.
Let's watch it till the end of the show.
We'll come back to this at the end of the show.
Yes, right. I love the Clippers here in this spot. If you're going to tell me I'm going to get Rondo for most of the time, and these dudes out here trying, and Markieff is not afraid to chuck, and he's been solid for that team. People underrate how valuable he has been for them. Also, like Zubac the other day absolutely destroyed against the Pistons, right? Like I do think that this team, they don't need Paul George. They don't need Kawhi in this game. And it's a perfectly good spot here where I think these Clippers can absolutely kill them. So I'm in on the Clippers. Let's wait and see what the line does throughout the end of the show, and then we'll have to talk it during the best bet segment. But strong lean on the Clippers, even at -4. If you want to hit it right now, you can go ahead and hit it right now. I'm going to wait a little bit and just see how it shakes up. DFS-wise, spread on an 11-game slate, this is what I've wanted. Like, I get these Clippers made, not to myself, but like, what happens, spread? And I love that this happened now, right? Because if this happened at 5:30, a lot of people would jump on it. I want the news to either happen really early in the day or really late. And then I want news to happen at 5:30 that people jump on the new news, right? Like this news could go not overlooked, but people might not jump on it as much as they should compared to some of the other spots. Because we might get some new news later, and then people are having the FOMO of not having this guy or that guy. I love the Clippers here in this spot, like Rondo in DFS. If he's going to play 30 minutes, I mean, he's going to be an absolute lock. Markieff Morris at 5K. I talked about it yesterday. He was my play of the day on the Hardwood Show. 5K, went for 35 fantasy points. That's 7X.
Markeith or Marcus?
Sorry, Marcus. I always mess them up.
Yeah,
and
you did that yesterday, and I was going to correct you, but we were so far into the show, and I mean, it was just, I figured people would know.
For a good reason. They're the same person. I mean, same bank account, same tattoos.
Marcus is way better.
Well, they're not the same basketball player, but they have the same bank account spread. Everything's the same with them. So, like, they're just the same person.
I wonder how that works for their dating life. But anyways, let's move on.
That's for another show, I think. The Marcus and Markieff Morris dating. But Terrence Mann, another great option you can go to. Kennard, all these guys are just too cheap, right? And they're going up against the Pistons. We know they struggle defensively. And the thing I do like about the Pistons, I will say, they do battle, right? They do think they're like this underrated team. So, like, they're going to try. They're not just going to fold like a team like the Magic and put up 30 points at half. So I think this is going to be a fun game for DFS, and I'll definitely be in on the Clippers. Tougher to predict some of these Pistons. I'm not going to really mess with them too much right now at this time.
All right. Great breakdown. We will circle back at the end of the show, see where that line is at. Let's talk about the Indiana Pacers. We were pretty down on the Pacers last night, and we were right. Let's see how they do against the ultimate fade, the Houston Rockets. Right now, the Pacers are laying 4.5 on the road against the team that's probably been the worst team in the league over the last 20 games. I don't have the exact numbers, but just from running the model on Sunday morning, I think that's what I remembered. Like, their last 10 splits were just absolutely terrible. Turner, questionable. McDermott, questionable. Sterling Brown out. Nwaba out. Daniel House out. Dante Exum out. Eric Gordon out. DJ Augustine out. I mean, how is this line only 4.5? What's going on?
So you're saying 4.5 which way spread? You're saying Pacers?
The Pacers are laying 4.5 on the road in Houston. I have this line at like 8.
Okay. I kind of like this. Call me crazy. What?
Like, what am I missing here?
So I don't think the Pacers are any good right now. Like, I really don't like what this team is. I also don't think this Houston team is as bad as people think. Now, I don't think Houston is good, right? But they're definitely better than I think people understand. Like, this is not the same Houston team that they had, right? Like, go and look at this roster. If I told you, tonight, John Wall, Kevin Porter Jr., Jayshawn Tate, Kelly Olynyk, and Christian Wood are all taking the court, would you think that team is a awful starting five? Now, I don't think it's a good starting five where they're going to be playing in the playoffs by any means, but I also don't think that this Pacers team is right.
It's pretty balanced, actually.
Yeah, I don't think this Pacers
team off the dribble.
I don't think this Pacers team is that good right now with the loss of Miles Turner. I also don't think Miles Turner is just like strong addition to the team too, but I think that there's not going to be a lot of defense being played, right? We talked about it yesterday with that Clippers game. I said I leaned the over. The over ended up hitting as well there. If you look on this entire slate, this is a 234 total, right? Indiana and Houston is a 234 total. If I told you that a couple months ago, you'd say I was crazy. It's also 5 points back of the Washington-Sacramento game. Like, this is still a really good DFS game in my opinion, and it's a good stacking game where I think I would maybe want to jump on a Sabonis and like a Brogdon or a LeVert, right? Like two of those guys, and then run it back with maybe a John Wall or a Christian Wood. I don't know exactly how to get the right combination and mix, and some of the prices have gone up on these Rockets where it has me concerned, but I think there's an interesting opportunity that you can take advantage on some of these guys. I think Sabonis' price tag still could go up a little bit. I think Brogdon's price tag has definitely gone down a bit, and there's opportunity for it to go up more. LeVert still at 7-4. You could make an argument that with this new, terrible defensive team playing at a faster pace, LeVert could be 8K in like a week or two, right? It would not shock me. So there's opportunity there with these guys. So I kind of lean. I like the Rockets. Call me crazy. I know you say that you think it should be 8.5. I lean the Rockets here. I think they could actually outright win this game.
Yeah, well, there's a reason I didn't bet it yet, because I'm not anxious to lay money on Indiana. I just have Houston is so bad.
And it's the second night of the back-to-back too, right? Like, which of course it's, they've been playing these up and down games, and I just think you could see some more tired legs than you think. And I honestly think the Rockets could win outright. It's not like going to be like this like best bet by me, but it's something that I lean. I think the Rockets are way more alive in this game than people think. And again, Sabonis, I know he's amazing and incredible, but how much can he carry that team? Will he be able to? Same with LeVert and Brogdon.
Is he going to need to though tonight? Okay, so here's going to be my argument for Indiana. this would Olynyk probably the worst rim protecting starting 4 and 5 in the league, right? I mean, how do Brogdon and LeVert not just eat at the rim?
Well, they could, right? Of course. But again, tired legs on the second night of a back-to-back, it's certainly possible.
But it's layups, not threes.
True, but this starting five, I wish I looked this up. I would love to know what this starting five is, plus minus.
The numbers, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see those numbers. If you could pull them up at some point while I'm talking. I'm bad at that on NBA.com. It takes me some work to kind of get all that stuff getting together, so I won't be able to pull it up.
I'm not going to do it while we're on the air, but I'll try and send it to you, and then maybe we can throw it on a tweet if it supports our argument. If not,
cool. Yeah, I would love to see it. Definitely. Well, we can talk about it later on for sure, okay. And on future shows, and maybe
I love that we're opposite on so many games today, right? I mean, after yesterday, right? I mean, it was just we agreed on everything, right?
We did sweep the board, though, right? I mean, we did really absolutely crush it. So it was a good day. I can't complain.
And now one of us will crush today.
Yeah, but I will say, DFS wise, it is an 11-game slate, so this might not be the best thing. But my plan over the next couple of weeks is attack the Pacers. It's not the best spot probably to do it in my cash games, right? But in a tournament, if I told you started out your team with a Sabonis and a John Wall, no one's going to play, I think, that combo. It's just not going to be.
Nobody's going to play John Wall.
Exactly. And I don't even know which John Wall's the guy, right? Christian Wood is probably a better guy to go to, right? Because of the ceiling that he can have. But he has been disappointing, except last game he finally did something. It took a while, but he finally did it.
But if Turner plays, don't play Wood, right?
Yeah, so if Turner – is he really going to play? If he plays, then obviously
questionable.
I don't know. So obviously, if Turner does come back, which I would be surprised if he comes back, if he does, I'd be way more off this game and maybe even the Rockets. But honestly, I don't think that even if he's back, I think he's still going to be struggling. I know Turner is that guy. I've read a lot of quotes on him in the past. He tries to play, he hates missing games, and that can sometimes be a detriment. Kyle Lowry does that at times too, where you kind of hurt your team when you come back early on. So let's go Rockets there, Spread. I'm on them today.
All right, I love that we've given people opposite opinions today. They don't just think that we just sit here and agree with everything. Let's talk about the Warriors, 26-28, 25-29 against the spread, heading to OKC to take on the Thunder, 20-34, 26-28 against the spread. OKC plus 11. For me, Travis is a simple handicap. Is Lou Dort playing? Yes, I will take the Thunder. What do you think?
Yeah, it's Lou Dort season for sure. I talked about him probably 3 weeks back before he got hurt and made him a play of the day. And he did well. He got 6X. Tony made fun of me and said that wasn't enough. But I mean, hey, I don't know. Maybe I was a little too early with Lou Dort.
I think he would have made fun of you if you went 10X. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, last night he went for 64, right? And it's the reason why I've been on him is he is running this offense. It is his show. And he's 5.5K. I think he's an amazing DFS play today against the Warriors. Now, people will say to me, oh, you're chasing, right? I'm not chasing. I talked about this 3 weeks ago. So knock it off. I'm not chasing anything. I think he's a good play. I think he's definitely someone that you need to be considering on this slate. Now, something I've been targeting in DFS specifically lately is I've been wanting to make sure I'm playing guys in games that might not blow out, right? Because that has been a concern. I felt like I did that yesterday with Mitchell. I didn't know if I wanted to play Mitchell. I went back and forth, and I ended up playing Donovan Mitchell. And the game blew out. It was quite frustrating. But I was like, man, all those guys are out, so it might be fine. Now, this spread is a little high, right? It's a 10 spread. If I'm building my teams, let's say I'm playing Steph Curry on a team, I'm running it back with Lou Dort, right? Because if we see Lou Dort do well, I want to run it back with Curry because if Dort does well, Curry is going to cook probably, right? I don't think in 2021 we expected to see a Lou Dort and Curry showdown, but you might see that tonight, Spread. From a betting perspective, I lean the Warriors, but
we're opposite on every game.
Really?
I love it.
This is the reason I lean them, right? The reason I lean them. The reason I lean the Warriors is I don't want to bet on OKC. I hate betting on them. They've been a disaster. It's more so, this could be a bad handicap, right? There's other games I've liked, and I don't have a strong read on this. The reason I typically lean that is I just don't want to be backing this Thunder team. If you tell me over the next 2 weeks, what am I supposed to do? I'm just going to be betting against the Thunder, and I think that'll be plus EV right now. But I currently, like I said, I like Lou Dort in DFS. If I play him, or if I play Curry, I want to run Lou Dort back with them, each other. because I think that if those two hit their ceilings, I think they hit it together, and they have like between the two of them, I think you'll get maybe like 100 fantasy points or something like that. So that's definitely something I want to kind of key on. You could see 60 from Curry and 40 from Dort. You could see 65 from Curry or 35 from Dort. So that's definitely something I'm going to look at on this slate.
Richard Small asks, is Oubre playing? No, there will be no Kelly Oubre tonight, according to Basketball Monster.
And no Kelly Oubre has been huge for Curry. He is shooting so many 3-pointers and chucking up the ball. Like, let me just pull up the game log and just it's incredible how many shots he has put up. Because he's another stud like on this slate you have to consider. But again, there's studs later on that I like more, and it's a massive slate where you have tons of stars. Also a pricier price on Steph Curry at 10.5. But here it is. He shot 24 field goal attempts, 18 3-pointers, 21 field goal attempts, 15 threes, 25 field goal attempts, 12 threes, 21 field goal attempts, 10 threes, 23 field goal attempts, 12 threes. And the key is the last two games is when Oubre has been out, right? He was out against Houston and Denver. And that's where you saw 15 3-pointers and 18 3-pointers. That's where the uptick has been. Curry went for 59 and 69. Definitely a good spot for Curry. It just depends what you think of him compared to some of these other stars that we'll talk about.
Do we have a 3-point prop available? I mean, they have to set it at like, what, 5.5?
Yeah, I would love to know what that prop is, because if we can find a good one spread, that might not be a bad bet. Definitely something to shop for. He went 10 for 18 and 8 for 15. There's no way they're setting this line at like 7.5 or 6.5, right? I mean, maybe they are, but
wild. So, all right, well, we are going to rename this show Crossfire, NBA Crossfire, since we're opposite on every game today. Mangone, the producers of First Take just called. They love what we're doing. They said, this is great TV here. So we'll keep it up, and we'll move on to the next game. The Dallas Mavericks heading to Memphis to take on the Grizzlies. Grizzlies, another team that I don't really have a lot of.
Real quick spread. Cat just got ruled out. So go to your book.
Unbelievable.
Go to your book and bet. I'm trying to get my bet in right now. So let me smash the Bucks. I mean, oh no, I'm not logged in. Oh no, it might be
already off the board for me. I'm
trying, spread. Got to battle through to get the bet in real quick.
Yeah, it's off the board. All right, I'll do the preview so you can concentrate.
Yes, do the preview while I make this bet.
Mavericks 29-24, 26-27 against the spread. Memphis is 27-25, 31-20 against the spread. So hey guys, this could matter for playoff seeding. It could come down to the tiebreaker. Should mean a lot to both teams. Dallas has been disappointing. They lost by 2 against San Antonio, and then they lost by, 18 last night in Philadelphia. This team is just struggling. They haven't really lived up to the expectations from last year. Memphis coming off an 11-point win in Chicago. Before that, they had lost 2 in a row, and before that, they had beat Atlanta. Memphis is 31-20 at home against the spread, and Dallas is 26-27 on the road. That's just in general, not on the road. I'm sorry, all games. So.
Real quick, so I got some bets on the Bucks. So did Richard in the chat. He got Bucks -9. I got -9.5. So I think Giannis plays. By the way, if he randomly counters and doesn't sit, I'll be mad. But whatever. You could probably cash it out too if you're worried. If you are worried, you could cash that thing out. But I think Cat is more valuable than Giannis. That's how I would view it. Also want to mention Who Shot You Film says Curry for 4.5 threes. Like where do I push on that?
I think that's Bet Online. Let me double check on that.
I mean, that's a great bet, man.
I usually just keep Bookmaker up because it's the most neutral of all the lines. So I figure.
Yeah, I mean, I love that bet. So I'm going to shop around for some Curry 3-point props here as we're talking. But I will admit, as I was betting that, I missed your breakdown. What game was it though? You got Dallas.
Basically, all we're talking about is Dallas and Memphis. Dallas is laying 2.5. We're in Memphis. This game means a lot, so I'm handicapping with full effort. So just who do you think is the better team? Who do you think wins? And it's in Memphis. Make sure.
Porzingis still out, correct?
Let me go to the injury report.
You never know.
No, Porzingis is in, but hey, right? He's I don't like his in. Tyrell Terry's out, DeAnthony Melton's out, Justice Winslow's out. Yeah, so
I will say, so having those guys out, it does help the usage of Valanciunas and Morant from a DFS perspective. This is a DFS game I'm literally gonna cross off. I'm not even gonna touch. I don't want to mess with these guys. I don't want to ignore what Valanciunas has done. He has been incredible. but I just think it's the wrong slate for him now. He does have a ceiling, right? If I was playing like 150 lineups, I would maybe sprinkle him in if I needed to at center, but I'm not jumping to roster guys in this game. And then betting wise, man, I don't love what the Grizzlies have been really doing. So I would lean going with the Mavericks. And Mavericks have been playing a lot better basketball. One reason Dallas has been frustrating from a DFS perspective is they're playing more half court and they're running more plays and sets, right? And sure, like that's not good for DFS, right? I like when Luka just runs up the court and they say, hey, ISO ball, Luka, do whatever you want, chuck the ball up, which is what they did in his young career, right? Kind of what the Timberwolves are doing with Anthony Edwards. Just shoot the ball, do your thing, Anthony Edwards. Now they're playing more team basketball, which of course that's good and that's what they should be doing. Nothing against that, but from a DFS perspective, it's not as sexy, right? I don't want that. Betting wise, that's obviously good. I think Dallas at -2.5 is where I would lean. Not going to say it's going to be a team that I'm all over, but it's if you force me to pick a lean, that's it. I have other bets that I've liked so far that we've talked about on the show.
Yeah, I think I like Dallas too. My worry is the matchup for Valanciunas. Is it just too easy for
him? Yeah, it could be. I will say, like, Valanciunas has been impressive, right? I don't want to ignore that, and I've been on him, so it's been nice, but it just feels like such a big slate, and, like, I just feel like there's other spots I can go.
Yeah, that's too. But I'm telling you, that's what kept me from placing the bet so far. Our guy Tyler, if you're a Run Pure Bets member, I've already placed his bet, so I'm on that. But, of course, you're going to have to be a member. So head on over to runpurebets.com. Promo code BETS25 off to become a member and get access to those plays right now. Tyler has been doing great, and he will be on the show with us tomorrow. So you guys will get your dose of Tyler. But if you want to know the angle that Tyler has got for that game, I'll tell you it's not something that we've talked about so far. But I like his approach to the game. Let's talk about a game. Now, this was one that I want to press to submit on. I like it. But I was worried I was getting a little excited, and I wanted to talk to you about it first. It's the Miami Heat, who are 28-26, 23-30 against the spread on a back-to-back, traveling to Denver. Always a terrible idea. 34-20, 26-28 against the spread. Denver lane 5. I talked about it yesterday. Not a big believer in the Heat, and I want to take Denver here again at -5. What do you think?
Yeah, Denver at -5. That's interesting. So you're basically saying that Jamal Murray thing's not going to matter, but you're also, I think you're kind of baking in spread. I think you think that Jimmy Butler sits and you just want to kind of get ahead of the train, right?
Even if he plays, I still just don't like this matchup for Miami. I think they're a tired team on the road, and I know that it sucks for Jamal Murray, but I mean, this Denver team's still so big. To go against a small Miami team, I mean, who do they have in their front court that's going to stop them, right? I mean,
I'll say I'm not jumping to bet Miami. I will say that. I do think Jokic, obviously, like him getting more usage is not a bad thing. Now, if you talk about for their postseason projection, yes, I'm more concerned because I do think they kind of need another guy there. But if we're talking regular season games, like more usage being funneled to Jokic is not a bad thing. And also, I like these guys like Campazzo and Monte Morris. Like, they're not bad players, right? Now, do I like those guys in the postseason dueling against Donovan Mitchell? No, I don't. But this is the regular season we're talking about. It's not as big of a deal. So I'm with you. I'm okay with leaning with the Nuggets. I don't want to – we've disagreed on a lot so far, spread, but I'm with you on the Nuggets. I will ride with the Nuggets here. I don't want to be betting on the Heat. The long road trip, too. It kind of fits well, I think, to stick on the Nuggets. So I'm with you. I'll back the Nuggets with you here.
All right, and so you ready for my hot take? I've been saving this since last night. All right, so you make your play. You hit, right? JSU makes his play. JSU hits, right? So we're 2-0. It's all on me, right? I got to get this Phoenix game, right? So I'm locked in. I'm dialed in, cheering my team in because we know how much that actually helps the result, right? If a guy 1,000 miles away.
You get that good mojo, change spots on the couch if things aren't going well, change the underwear, all that stuff, Fred.
So as I'm watching, I notice that as a Phoenix Suns backer, I start when it's a wide open 3 for Butler, I feel like it's a win for the defense of the Phoenix Suns, right? And Butler's so great at getting to the rim, drawing fouls, and playing defense. I started thinking to myself, is Butler just Giannis with attitude? Your thoughts, Travis?
Oh, Giannis with attitude. I will say, Butler cannot shoot a 3-pointer. Like he's he's kind of got that Russell Westbrook in him where he like takes like those terrible twos at times, and it's like, I don't know, what are you doing? But he is one of those guys that he's got some DeMar DeRozan in him too, where it's like, yes, you are not taking the smartest shot, but like they do go in, right? Especially like when they matter, right? He like wills them in. He's just so good. I remember when he was with the Sixers, he's like clutch rating or whatever, like, or like the value he had to the team was like higher than like any player in the league. It was like insane. So I don't know. Sometimes like great players just like have this magic behind them. Now I want to put him in the Giannis category because like I feel like Jimmy Butler is like won some stuff and like been impressive. He went and he just like owned Giannis's soul, right? So we can't disrespect him like that.
All right, so that was my hot take, though. I think JSU would have got even more of a kick out of it, so I'll make sure to run that by him next time.
Yeah, run that by him next time.
He's on the show. I felt like Sarah Jessica Parker, like on the typing on the thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Attitude, right? As I'm going into these deep thoughts. All right, but we got to finish this up quickly. We are close to the end here. Almost, we're making on time. Let's see if we can do it, Travis. Washington Wizards 20-33, 27-26 against the spread. Going to Sacramento, take on the Kings 22-32, 22-31 against the spread. Travis, I'm going to be quick here. This is an injury game to me. This comes down to one thing: is Rashawn Holmes playing? Rashawn Holmes has missed 4 or 5 games this year. The Kings have lost all of them by 8 or more. He's so much more, means so much more to the team than the stats will show you. This is for me watching the games a lot. If he's out, this team has no chance, and I'm all over the Wizards. I don't think he moves the line either, so I think I'm safe to wait for the news. What do you think?
Yeah, Spread, we talked before the show, right? You said, I got some stuff to do. I might not be able to like be around lock. Mm-hmm. Put Rondo in your lineup, put another Clipper or two, and then backload for this game, man. Just game stacking.
Okay, I'm doing that. I'll be home should be home by 7:30.
Yeah, and I think you'll have the value to be able to do it. Like, Spread, sit down, watch your Kings. I mean, we have so it's opened at 236.5. Uh-huh. It is now 241.5, 242 at BetMGM, right? Like, and it's a 2-point spread. Like, this is going to be amazing. Like, this is the game to sit down. Like, you pull the pants off, right? You grab some popcorn, grab whatever beverage you want, adult beverage, and just watch the game and have a good time. Like, the DFS points are going to be flying. Russell Westbrook will be going crazy. De'Aaron Fox, yes, the price tag feels expensive, but hey, he obviously is not going to be owned, and it's the Wizards, right? And if there is no Holmes, right? I mean, De'Aaron Fox will probably just go crazy, right? Like Bradley Beal, 8.7K. Like, Bradley Beal is cheap. And the one thing about Beal, I felt like he was playing injured when he first came back, and then he sat a little bit longer. Uh-huh. And he's touching the ball more, right? He's had more backcourt touches. I do think Bradley Beal is worth a shot here. Now, I lean Russell Westbrook. I think you could play both, but I want Westbrook over Beal for sure. I don't hate putting both in the same game, possibly, if you're going to go for the full-on game stack. Now, it could be the wrong slate again. If it was like a 5-4 gamer, it's easier to do that. Like, there's a lot of different plays, so you might cap your upside a little bit, but I don't hate Beal. I do think I want Westbrook over him, though. No doubt in my mind. Buddy Hield, do we know if he is in or out? Because he's questionable with an illness, which, again, could help De'Aaron Fox. If there's no Holmes and there's no Buddy, that's going to be big for a guy like Fox, right?
Unfortunately, it could help the Wizards because Buddy Hield is to me, he's just terrible. All he does is shoot threes. Like, I'm so old. We had this guy named Jim Less. He was this white guy that just shot threes. It's like, I can't believe that we're paying $100 million for a modern version of Jim Less. But you lose when he goes out. You bring in a better defender. If I'm betting the Wizards, I want Hield in there. I don't care how well he shoots.
Yeah, I will say this too. Like, I lean betting on the Wizards here in this spot. Like, I kind of think this is like a great bet here too, as well. Mm-hmm. Like, because let's say they are missing Holmes, which they certainly could be. Yeah. What on earth are the Kings going to do? Are they so? And this is where I'm going to struggle here. DFS wise, Hassan Whiteside is he's what? He's 3.6K, right? And we know the Wizards like to play with Alex Len. They like to play with Robin Lopez. Like, Hassan Whiteside, if he's starting, is an elite play in this spot because we know the Wizards are not just going to go small. They're always going to have a center out there. They always like to play with that. It's just what they do. Now, I like Whiteside if we get the news that he's starting. We did see Damian Jones really close in the last game when Holmes did go down. So I don't know what they're going to do.
I think I don't think that Walton and Whiteside get along. I would expect more Jones.
Yes, and I also think that if Whiteside's the starter, Whiteside does not help you win games, right? He's great for fantasy. He does all that stuff. He puts up all the points, but he's not good for fantasy. He's just not. I mean, he's not good for like real life basketball.
Well, for every block he gets, he like messes the rotation up or fouls like unnecessarily and gives up an and one on something that you shouldn't even rotate it on.
Yes. So I do think if Whiteside's starting, I want to bet on the Wizards, but I also want to play him in DFS. I know it's like a weird thing to say, but it's just true.
No, it's not at all. There's plenty of guys that are empty calories.
Yep. Halliburton, I don't hate. He's got tournament upside, not a priority for me. I do think you're going to see a lot of DeLon Wright at 4K as an interesting option. And Terrence Davis, I dabbled with last slate. I don't know exactly what his role is. You know what I know DeLon Wright's role is? His role is to play defense, right? And like be like, he's not being the primary scorer or guard, but they want him as like a combo guard that plays D. And they have Beal, they have Fox. They're going to need DeLon Wright. He's going to be on the court. At 4K, he's in play. I don't know if he's this priority play, but if you want to mix in some guys throughout this game and Buddy Hield is out, I think he's an interesting play. Same with a Harkless, right? 3.7K. If there's no Buddy Hield, Mo Harkless is in there for defense and to just like kind of, shoot those threes up and do the best he can.
And for highlight dunks. Maybe the dunk of the year. Maybe the dunk of the year. Yeah.
Yep. So that Mo Hart. Oh, the Miles Bridges dunk might contend us.
I know. We've had some good ones this last week. So
that one, and it was on Clint Capella, so that was an awesome one. But I talked about the Kings a lot there. On the Washington side, we got to talk about Daniel Gafford. Big T loves himself some Daniel Gafford. So does Scott Brooks. Loves Daniel Gafford. Played 18 minutes, and we like to target the Kings all around, right? Especially with big men. Gafford has been really solid for them. He's athletic. I think Gafford at 3-4 is in play. Now, again, 11-game slate, lots of good plays all around. You can make an argument that if Gafford might not get the minutes, he feels like Rondo yesterday, where like he might play like 18 to 22. If he played 30, I'd be all in. Maybe he doesn't have the ceiling compared to some of these other guys, but I really like Gafford. He's someone I'm going to be considering for sure. Bertans, his minutes limit has kind of disappeared, so he's sort of in play. Obviously, it's the Kings. They can shoot a lot. Rui's price is up. I don't need to mess with him with Beal being back. And I think that wraps it up for the most part. Denny's a little priced up where I don't need to go to him, and with Beal being back, that's hurting it. But this game, as the kids say, it's lit, right? You got to be all in on this game. I absolutely love it. So I want to be in on some Kings in Washington. And again, we could have guys that get ruled out later on, right? You could have Jimmy Butler get ruled out. And if Jimmy Butler's ruled out at 10, what's that going to do? It's going to move us on to some of these really nice Miami plays like a Kendrick Nunn, a Dragic. So there's some opportunity here to backloading, and I think it's really interesting.
I love it. I'm going to have to make some lineups here. We're backloading the lineups. I love it, Travis. You made a great point. Gosh, I have one other thing I was going to ask you, but I can't remember what it was. Okay, we'll just go to best. Oh, no. I was going to say, Travis, we know that patience is a virtue, right?
Yes.
Clippers down to -3. So keep that in mind as we give out the best.
Oh, baby. Okay, yeah. One of my buddies said to me in a group chat, he said, should have got Pistons +8. I said, okay, you can have Pistons +8. I might even take the Clippers -8. That's how much I love them here. I won't do that, right? But I'm going to keep waiting for my line. The Clippers are in a great spot here. I'm going to watch that one for the next hour or so and keep seeing where it's going to be going.
All right. I love it. So, but go ahead. It's that time. We're only a couple minutes past our cutoff time, so I think we're doing great. You've done a great job. But go ahead and give me a best bet, side, total, or prop.
Man, so best bet. We definitely talked about a lot. So I'll give you a prop and a play. So I like the Curry. Love it. I like the Curry one a lot. The 4.5 threes, that. I found it on the board. Found it at Bet365. The juice wasn't the most kind, -140. I'm sure you can find better at other books though, because that book typically has some terrible juice. So let's go with the 4.5 threes. Really like that for Curry. And as like Big T says sometimes, we're giving winners, right? It doesn't matter what the juice is. It's a winner. So just take the winner. Walk away with the free money. So Curry over 4.5 3-pointers. Like that a ton. I talked earlier on the show. I said I thought the Pelicans was a really interesting one at 2.5. I think the Clippers at -3 is really strong, and I like watching that one. I like the Rockets as a money line. Again, I'm not giving my best bet yet. I also like the Wizards a lot, at 2.5. We didn't talk about that a ton there. I like that one. So there's a lot of bets that I like. We
talked about that one.
What?
We both said we liked that one. It was one of our rare agreements. Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, it's hard to choose because I like a bunch of them.
I've made 5 bets during the show.
I haven't placed them yet. I'm going to place them when I get off the show here. I'm gonna go back to the well and the Clippers, man. I feel like I can't without the stat that I talked about. And now listen, if Rondo is like ruled out, like in all those guys, and it's just like a super dusty game, like obviously, like yeah, I mean, it would be unfortunate to be on that, but I think they would have announced it already. They would have talked about maybe Rondo being like resting on the back-to-back, but it's definitely key that Rondo is in there. If you want to jump on another bet because you feel like it got dusty after that, I would tell you my second best bet would probably be the Pelicans at -2.5. But like a lot of those games that we talked about, spread. But give me yours. Is it the Nuggets? Are you firing with them?
Nuggets. It's the Nuggets -5 here. Basically, we're getting a tired Miami team that I already thought was overvalued against what it's the toughest arena I think to play a back-to-back in the NBA. Right? You're already tired, and then now you're dealing with the altitude. I know the Nuggets lost Jamal Murray, but I love their size. I mean, Porter Jr. Gordon and Jokic. It's just too much for Bam. I mean, this team just they don't have this. They're not built to take on this Nuggets team. So I'm all over the Nuggets tonight. I'm on them -5. So that is going to be my best bet. Travis, we did pretty good. We only went 5 minutes over our projected time. Hopefully, you will be able to get out and get everything done that you need to do. I know you're busy. You might be doing the cash chart, and I know that you've been crushing all these NBA playbooks. So anything else before we get out of here?
Yeah, just tons of great stuff at runpuresports.com. Hit the like, hit the subscribe on this video. Check out all the content we have at Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. If you want to sign up and get both, $80 a month, use the code GETBETS. You will get $80. You'll get both of them together. It's typically $80 for the bets, and then it's for a month. And then you get an extra $20 for the bets. If you just sign up for the bets only, it's $60. One more code we have if you just want the DFS. It's Diamond25. Get you 25% off your first payment.
That's right. And if you just want the bets, it's going to be bets 25 off over at runpurebets.com. Travis, I thank you for hanging out today, man. I know that everyone in the chat enjoyed having you here as well for the extra DFS breakdowns. It was nice that we were able to bring a little conflict to the show today. We weren't all in agreement, so we'll find out, but we seem to be in agreement on the best bets. So that's what really matters. We can disagree on the lean, on the Magic or the Bulls, but neither of us is going to have money on either side. So maybe just send you a friendly DM on someone's right. But fortunately, it will not cost us any money either way. Let's hope these best bets come through. I look forward to sending out another winning tweet tonight. Thank you for coming on with me today. Tomorrow, guys, I will have Tyler with me. On Friday, it'll be Tyler and AP. And then Saturday, it'll be back to Tyler. So we got you covered for the rest of the week to go ahead and break down all these NBA games. Once again, head on over to runpurebets.com. Promo code BETS25 off to get access to all the plays, including Tyler's coveted Dallas Mavericks, Memphis Grizzlies play. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow.